What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my full card breakdown and predictions for UFC Fight Island 3, Darren Till versus Robert Whittaker. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another full card breakdown and prediction video. This time we are breaking down UFC Fight Island 3, and what a card we have. We have a lot of great matchups on this card, a lot of guys that fought in the UFC before, taking a couple years off, coming back, and some UFC newcomers as well. And of course we got Chimaev, the dude that fought last week. He's going to be back on this card. Really looking forward to that. Before we get started and break it all down, if you guys can leave a like, also subscribe if you haven't yet, would really appreciate that. My goal is to get 5,000 subscribers by UFC 252. By then I'm going to be doing 2 giveaways at UFC 52, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you do not miss out on those. And it's going to be a great card, so can't wait for UFC 252. It's coming up in less than a month now, I think. So coming off a profitable week for me. Hopefully you guys did well. I went 4-2 on my bets. My 4 bets were Gordon Albazi, fight doesn't go to decision. Arman Sarukian by decision. Davison Figueiredo wins inside the distance, and I feel bad for anybody that played Figueiredo by knockout. I wanted to take the safer route and go inside the distance there. And I had a straight bet on Brett Johns. So those were the 4 wins there. And then the 2 losses were Mark Diakese and Alexander Pantoja. If one of those guys would have hit, it would have been a monster night for me. But nonetheless, the 4th profitable week in a row for me, betting-wise. So looking forward to keep it going. In this card, I already have 3 bets placed. I will go over those bets and many more Friday evening on my live stream. Going to be going about 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. So make sure you guys check that out. A lot of you guys have been tuning in for that, asking questions, hanging out on Friday. So hopefully we do that and, just keep gaining people in there. So we will start with the first fight of the night, and it is going to be Nathaniel Wood versus John Castaneda. So Nathaniel Wood, he is 26 years old. He is 5'6" with a 69-inch reach. He is 16-4 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. John Castaneda, he is 28 years old. He is 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. He is 17-4 and he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. All right, looking at the odds here, Wood is a huge favorite, minus 425, and that's pretty much the theme of this card. Like, there's a bunch of huge favorites on this card. Some should be closer than others, but I think the line is justified. I mean, it could be a little bit closer. Watching tape on Castaneda, wasn't too impressed with him. He's good on the feet. I think maybe he could, give Wood some problems on the feet, but I just think Wood's better overall, especially in the wrestling grappling. I think that's where he really separates himself in this fight, and that's why I think the line is this wide, minus 425 Wood, because of that wrestling and grappling advantage. I've seen Castaneda taken down multiple times. I've seen him controlled for minutes at a time, and Wood's like next level compared to some of these guys Castaneda's been fighting. The only concerns I'd have for Wood would be, he's lost by knockout twice, he's lost by submission twice, so he is getting finished in his losses. He's never lost by decision, but I just think he's far and above the better fighter here, and I do like him to win quite a bit in this fight. As for a bet, for minus 425, maybe it's parlayable. I don't really see him losing unless he gets caught on the feet, but I'm assuming he'll fight smarter after getting knocked out by John Dodson in his last fight. John Dodson is a great fighter and all, and a veteran of the sport, but he's not really known for his power, so that is a little bit concerning there. And pretty much everybody was on Wood, so that really surprised me there. But I think he should roll here. I think he's the better fighter overall, and give me Nathaniel Wood. I'm going to pick 2nd round submission. All right, next we got Ramazan Ameev versus Nicholas Dolze. You got Ameev. He is 33 years old. He is 5'10", 68.5-inch reach. He is 18-4 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Nicholas Dolze, he is 33 years old. He is 6 foot. Don't know his reach. He is 12-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So I think that Stolze is going to have a chance if this stays on the feet the whole time, but the problem is it's just not going to stay on the feet. Like, Ameev has very good takedowns. He averages 2 takedowns per 50 minutes, 33% takedown accuracy, and I just think he's on a whole nother level with the takedowns and the grappling, the wrestling. So I think he's going to take down Stolze multiple times, even put him up against the cage for long periods of the time. Ameev is not really a finisher there. He has a 67% finish rate. 53% finish rate, and don't really see him finishing here unless he finds a submission. He has finished 37% of his fights by submission, doesn't have much power, has only a 16% finish rate by knockout. But, you know, Ameev's a decent fighter. I do think he's a huge favorite. Just checking the line here, he's minus 380. So it definitely could be parlayable. I think on the feet, it honestly is, you know, closer than the line probably indicates, but this fight is not going to be played out on the feet. I think Ameev's going to fight smart and take him down here. So give me Ameev by decision probably every single round as long as he doesn't get clipped or anything, but I do think he's the far better fighter here. So another case where there's another big favorite here. As for a bet, you know, it's too wide to bet that straight. Maybe put it in a parlay. I'll be going over, you know, all my bets on Friday on the live stream there, but yeah, give me Ameev by decision there. All right, next we got a fight that is a little bit closer, you know, odds-wise. You got Kianzad versus Betch Correa. Kianzad is 28 years old. She is 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. She is 12-5 and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Betch Correa, she is 37 years old, 5'5" with a 64-inch reach, 11-4 and 2-3 in her last 5 fights. So what this comes down to for me is, we'll check the odds real quick. Kianzad is minus 150 and Correa is plus 130. I mean, Correa's fought the better competition by far. I mean, maybe she hasn't been winning those fights, but she has fought the better competition. That's what has me a little bit worried here because I am picking Kianzad. But I think she's better on the feet. I think that's where this is going to play out at. I think she's the far faster fighter. Like, Correa is just, you know, she's very stiff, she's slow, and I just think Kianzad's going to have pretty much a field day. As long as she can outland her, throw more volume, I think she'll have no problem winning a decision here, landing the more strikes. But Correa can definitely make this a dirty fight, and I do think that's why this line's kind of close. I mean, she did just beat Ciara Eubanks. I personally thought Eubanks won at least 2 of those 3 rounds, but, you know, she beat Eubanks, a talented fighter there. But Kianzad, I do think she has the striking advantage. I do think that she will land more. She'll land the cleaner shots, and she's just more talented overall. But as for a bet, you know, probably won't touch Kianzad. If I had a bet, I would probably bet on the Kianzad side, but I do think this fight's probably going to be pretty close, split decision written all over it. But give me Kianzad by decision there. And as you guys will notice, there are a lot of fights that are, you know, favored to go to decision. So I don't really see many finishes on this card. I mean, we'll get to a couple, but a lot of these fights are going to be by decision. So next we got Raphael Passova versus Tanner Boser. So Boser, he is 20 years old. He is 6'2" with a 75.5-inch reach. He is 18-6 and 1 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Passova, he is 31 years old. He is 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. He is 10-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Looking at the odds here, Boser is an insane minus 270 favorite, and Passova is plus 230. I think a lot of that line is due to what Bozer did to Philip Lins, which was awesome. I won a lot of money off that fight. Bozer looked amazing. Like, Bozer isn't really a knockout guy. I mean, he's finished 50% of his fights by knockout, but, you know, he's more of a volume striker. You know, he gets those kicks in. He's not really a power puncher, but he went out there and knocked out Philip Lins, which I do think he's kind of a fraud. I mentioned that when we broke down that fight, but, you know, I do like Bozer to win this fight, just being the faster fighter by a good margin. Passova is fast for, you know, for his build, but I just think Bozer is the better striker overall. He has great leg kicks, and Passova is really heavy on that lead leg, kind of sticks right in front of you. I think so I think Bozer is going to have a chance to really attack those legs there and just rack up the significant strikes with those leg kicks. I don't really see a finish here. Both these guys are very tough. I want to say Passova has never been finished. Passova's lost by submission against Cyril Gane, I believe. But yeah, Bozer, I think he takes this fight. The only concern is that fast turnaround. He just fought, the flight, the jet lag. I don't know when he came to Abu Dhabi. Gonna have to find that out. I haven't been able to watch much interviews, so I don't know how much juice he takes for you guys yet. So that's why the live stream is going to be very important. I had to dig deep for this 15-card fight. Just lots of tape for me, so I haven't got to get into the interviews yet. I will be getting to those interviews on Wednesday, so make sure you guys check that out. But Bozer should win this fight. I think he's the better overall fighter. Honestly, not too impressed with Passova, so give me Bozer by decision there. All right, this is a really good fight here. Mazar Eveloev versus Mike Grundy. Grundy is someone who I'm really high on both these guys, actually, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. So we got Mazar Eveloev. He is 26 years old. He is 5'7", with a 72.5-inch reach. He is 12-0 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.33 significant strikes per minute with a 64% striking accuracy. He absorbs 1.73 significant strikes per minute with a 55% striking defense. He averages 5 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 31% accuracy, and he does have a 100% takedown defense. 12 fights, he's won by knockout 25% of the time. He's not really a power puncher. He's more of a volume guy. He's won by submission 33% of the time, and he has a 58% finish rate overall, and he's undefeated. So Mike Grundy, he is 33 years old. He is 5'7", with a 72-inch reach. He is 12-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He averages 3.4 significant strikes per minute with a 58% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.27 significant strikes per minute with a 76% striking defense. He averages 1.5 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 33% takedown accuracy. He has a 100% takedown defense. 13 fights for Grundy, 8% won by knockout, 67% won by submission, and a 75% finish rate overall, and he's lost by submission once. Looking at the odds here, Mazar Eveloev is a -195 favorite, and Grundy is a +170 underdog. So I see lots of love coming in for Mike Grundy around the MMA betting community, and I don't really get it. I mean, watching tape on Eveloev, I was, blown away by the amount of progress I see fight after fight from this guy in his striking. We already know he's a great wrestler, very strong guy, but the amount of improvement I see in his striking fight by fight is just crazy. And he's training at Tiger Muay Thai, lots of good guys in there, and I believe he's training at a American Top Team as well. So that's just a great sign. I mean, I think he's only going to be improving his striking, and watching tape on Mike Grundy, there's a lot of recency bias. Like this guy's some kind of finisher because he finished Nathaniel Armani. That was his first knockout in his MMA career. His MMA career, not just his UFC career, his MMA career, 8% finish rate. He hits hard. He hits harder than Eveloev, but he's not some kind of guy that's going to come here and just one punch and knock out somebody. I don't even think he finished Narimani on the ground, like he knocked him out clean. I think it was just a build-up. He hurt him, and then I think he finished him maybe on the feet. I don't know if he fell down there, but he has power, he does, but not as much power as people are thinking just because he knocked out Nathaniel Armani there. So how this plays down for me, I think the wrestling is honestly going to cancel itself out. I don't really see either guy engaging in the wrestling, and it wasn't also a bad sign for Grundy whenever he tried to take Narimani down, once or twice, and he got him down once. So I really thought Grundy was going to shoot more takedowns in that fight, so that's concerning right away. If he doesn't want to take down Nathaniel Armani, what makes people think he's going to take down Eveloev? I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Eveloev is the better overall MMA wrestler. I mean, Grundy does have a bronze medal back from 2009 in wrestling, but I do think Eveloev has the better MMA wrestling here, and I do think he's the better striker as well. I just don't really I'm not too impressed with Grundy, compared to other people. A lot of people are really high on him, but Eveloev is the real deal in my opinion. I think he's going to win this fight based off of volume, landing the more strikes. Grundy is a good striker, but he just does not throw enough for me against Eveloev. That's going to come forward. He's not worried about getting hit. He's not worried about getting knocked out, and I really don't think he should against Grundy. I just think the recency bias is real in this fight for sure. People thinking Grundy is some kind of knockout artist. He's really not. Just watching his tape, he's a wrestler. That's what he does. And on the feet, he's good, but I just think Eveloev's going to throw more. So give me Mazar Eveloev by decision. Definitely looking at placing a bet on that. If the line gets closer, I see pretty much everybody on Mike Grundy. So the line should be getting closer, but it's got a little bit closer. If it gets a little bit closer to -175, I will for sure jump on that, but we got to wait on that because I do think there's going to be a lot more love coming in for Grundy due to what he did in Nathaniel Armani's last fight. So give me Mazar Eveloev by decision. And we still haven't predicted a finish yet, so maybe we will here with Jake Collier versus Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall, he is 27 years old. He is 6'5". Don't know his reach. He is 7-2 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Jake Collier, he is 31 years old. He is 6'3" with a 78.5-inch reach. He is 11-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So taking a look at the line here, Aspinall is -230 and Collier is +190. And this is one of those fights where I really need to see the weigh-ins before I put Aspinall on a parlay or make a prop bet on Aspinall for maybe a finish, but I want to see Collier on the scales. Also want to see Aspinall on the scales as well. So Collier is someone who has fought at 285 before. He's fought at 205, and now he's coming up to heavyweight, and he's on a 3-year layoff. You know, watching tape on him, he's tough. Decent wrestler. I believe he had a wrestling background in high school. Just not overly impressed with him. Kind of concerned about his durability. He has been finished twice by knockout. And, you know, coming up to heavyweight, we've seen how that's been working out for guys coming up to heavyweight, you know, during this whole, you know, quarantine stuff, the quarantine training going on. I just don't know about this Collier, dude. I really don't. So I want to see him on the scales. Like I said, when he fought for the UFC, he did a couple of years ago, I was not overly impressed at all. And as for this Aspinall guy, he looks decent. I believe he's a BJJ black belt as well. You know, he throws hard. Obviously, he's going to be the harder hitter in this fight. Collier does have some power, but is it really going to translate up to heavyweight? I don't think so. Aspinall is 7-2, but one of those losses was a DQ, and other than that, he got submitted, which is weird. You know, that's really weird there. But he's training with guys like Darren Till and Mike Grundy even. So I'm assuming his wrestling is going to be on point. He's going to be on point overall. And, you know, for minus 230, I want to see weigh-ins, but I do think there's some value on that line, especially for like a parlay. I think that's a decent parlay piece there because I just don't see Collier coming up here to heavyweight after a 3-year layoff and winning this fight. And, you know, there's a lot of question marks with Aspinall, you know, unproven, making his UFC debut, but I like what I see out of him. I do. I think he's going to obviously have the power advantage. And the wrestling, maybe not the wrestling advantage, but I do think he can take it to the ground if he wants to. You know, especially being the bigger, stronger guy, and then of course, you know, the BJJ advantage by a decent margin as well. So I think Aspinall has the better training overall. I'm not sure where Collier has been training. No excuses, MMA. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to pick Aspinall to win this. I'm going to say second round knockout. I've seen Collier get tired in fights, so maybe he gasses out after that first round. So give me Aspinall. I'm picking my first finish of the card here. Second round knockout there. All right, and also, guys, remember you guys can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. I post all my bets there before fight day. Come talk some fights with me. You know, give out some information throughout the week as much as I can. I've been pretty busy this week, so I haven't been able to get much out there, but just lots of good stuff on my Twitter, and I'm happy to talk fights with you guys pretty much all week and fight day for sure. But this fight we got Nicholas Dalby versus Jesse Ronson. Both these guys have fought in the UFC before coming back here. Nicholas Dalby, he is 35 years old. He is 5'11" with a 74.5-inch reach. He is 18-3-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.27 significant strikes per minute with the 38% striking accuracy. He absorbs 3.33 significant strikes per minute with the 55% striking defense. He averages 2 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 50% takedown accuracy, 69% takedown defense. 23 fights, he's won by knockout 33% of the time. He's won by submission 22% of the time. Has a 55% finish rate overall. He's lost by decision 3 times, and he has never been finished in his 23-fight career. Jesse Ronson, he is 34 years old, 5'10", 70.5-inch reach, 21-10, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.09 significant strikes per minute with a 46% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.73 significant strikes per minute with a 59% striking defense. He averages 0.67 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 40% takedown accuracy. Has a 61% takedown defense. So 31 fights for Ronson, has won by knockout 43% of the time, has won by submission 38% of the time. He's lost by decision 8 times and lost by knockout twice. Looking at the line here, Dalby is minus 265 and Ronson is plus 225. So, you know, actually Dalby just, you know, beat Oliveira in his last fight. I want to say, was it last year, 2019 or 2018? Just watched that fight. He looked pretty good in that fight. You know, really surprised me in that fight. He fought a lot better than I expected him to. Ronson is a guy that, you know, he came in the UFC. He lost 3 split decisions in a row. Of course, it was against decent competition, but, you know, just someone that's a guy that just doesn't really win fights. So I do like Dalby to win this fight. I think he can take him down, or at least hold him up the cage for periods of the time. The striking could be close at times, but I just think the wrestling advantage for Dalby is, you know, if he fights smart, gets him to the ground, I think he can control him for periods of the time, just win rounds that way. Don't really see a finish here. You know, Ronson's a pretty tough guy. He's only finished twice. And I'm going to pick Dalby to win by decision. Pretty weird fight, though. Ronson has not been overly impressive outside the UFC. He's been losing fights outside the UFC, so he got another chance here. But tough matchup here with Dalby. I do think Dalby takes this one. I believe Ronson's 1-2 coming into this fight right here, which is very weird. So I'm kind of curious about that. Why they would bring him back here? You know, in those circumstances, maybe they needed a fight. But I got Dalby here. As for maybe a parlay piece or something, I think it's parlayable. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with parlays yet. Of course, you know, remember last week I said last week was not a parlay card whatsoever. 3 big favorites lost. Montel Jackson lost. Duffy lost. Pantoja even lost. So last week was not a parlay card. This card is pretty much a parlay card here. So there are some guys I'm worried about putting in a parlay, but I'll get to my parlay pieces on the live stream. I'm not really a parlay guy either, by the way. I usually like doing maybe 2 or 3 legs at the max, but I do think there are some spots here to get a good parlay in. All right, so we will get to the next fight here. And Francisco Trinado versus Jai Herbert. Trinado, he is 41 years old. 41 years old. He is 5'9", with a 70-inch reach. He's 25-7 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Jai Herbert, he is 32 years old. He is 6'1". Don't know his reach. He is 10-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Looking at the odds here, Trinado is -170 and Herbert is +150. So this is going to be my first underdog pick on the whole card. There's not many spots for underdogs on this card, to be honest with you guys. You know, I do think most of these favorites will win, but I like Herbert to win this fight based off of volume alone. This kid's fast. This kid's pretty good. Libby's Cage Warriors champion, going against Trinado, who seems to be on kind of a decline here. I mean, he just does not throw much. I think if someone comes in here with the game plan of just sticking and moving and out-volleying him, you know, getting in, getting out, not getting hit, I do think that Trinado will probably lose this fight based on volume alone. I think Trinado will probably land the harder shots, but Herbert hits pretty hard as well. And I just think Herbert's the better overall fighter at this point. And the only thing that concerns me, and this is probably why Trinado's a favorite, and the other reason is because, of course, he's a UFC veteran coming against a UFC newcomer, is if Trinado wants to try to go for takedowns, I do think he gets them. But that's just not part of Trinado's game. Going for takedowns, he only averages 1.17 takedowns per 50 minutes. You know, I don't think he has the gas tank to really go for takedowns here. So if that doesn't happen, if this plays out on the feet, I favor Herbert in this fight as long as he does not get knocked out. He's been knocked out before by someone also on this card, Rhys McKee, who we will be getting to next. But overall, I really like this spot for Herbert. You know, I haven't placed a bet on it, but you know, guys, stay tuned to the Friday live stream. But you know, I think this is a decent spot for Herbert at those odds, Blazy, +150, just to land more. And judges like that. Judges like, you know, the activity of fighters coming forward, landing more, and that's just not something Trinado does. So unless Trinado knocks him out, which it could happen, or he takes him down, which, you know, again could happen. But both of those I don't really think are too likely. So I'm going to side with Herbert here to win a decision there. Probably 2 out of 3 rounds, maybe even all 3. I think Trinado might have some success in that first round, but you know, I do like what I see from this Jai Herbert guy. So Jai Herbert by decision. All right, we got a good fight here. Khamzat Chimaev versus Rhys McKee. And we, of course, remember Khamzat, he just fought last week. I was very high on this guy. I had him in a 3-leg parlay, which was awesome. You know, he went out there and dominated Phillips from, you know, when the bell first rung to when he got that submission. The problem is this line is extremely wide. Chimaev is a -1,200 favorite, and Rhys McKee is +775. You know, I do think he wins this fight, and I do think the line is honestly probably warranted. I was trying to find some tape on McKee, and from what I watched, he's very small for the weight class. He really is. He looks a little small. He's not really a power puncher. He's more of a volume guy on the ground. He has decent submissions, but that's against, of course, lower-level opponents. I've seen him get taken down many times from really low-level guys compared to a guy like Chimaev. So I think Chimaev's going to absolutely have his way with McKee here, do whatever he wants to him. Hopefully finish the fight as well. This guy McKee, we just talked about him. I mean, this guy Chimaev, we just talked about him last week, but I saw tape on this guy beforehand, picking up guys, running him across the octagon or the cage just to get to his corner and just slamming him right down, just picking up guys with no problem at all. And I think we'll be able to do that to McKee quite easily here, considering I believe this fight is at 170. So the Phillips fight was at 185. So Chimaev looked huge at 185. So imagine how big he's going to look compared to McKee. And I will be posting that comparison at the weigh-ins on Twitter. I posted the Phillips and Chimaev comparison on Twitter as well. So we'll be posting that comparison on Twitter because it's going to be a massive size advantage, I believe. Because he's a big dude. He's a huge dude. So I'm picking him to win. I'm going to say first round knockout on the ground, some ground and pound going on. McKee's a tough fighter, but he has been knocked out, I believe. Let me check. He's been knocked out once. And then also, I believe he was finished in his amateur career as well a couple times. So obviously, you don't want to parlay minus 1,200 with Chimaev. I was honestly looking at parlaying the Chimaev wins inside the distance like minus 400. Probably best price you're going to get if you do want to put it in a parlay or something. Don't put the minus 1,200 in there. But I'd be very surprised if Chimaev would lose this fight. So give me Chimaev to win. I'm going to say first round knockout, ground and pound victory there. All right, next we got Alex Oliveira versus Peter Sobatta. Oliveira, he is 32 years old. He is 5'11" with a 76.5-inch reach. He is 21-8-1 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.09 significant strikes per minute with a 51% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.27 significant strikes per minute with a 44% striking defense. He averages 2.84 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 37% takedown accuracy. Has a 59% takedown defense. 30 fights for Alex Oliveira there. 57% won by knockout, 24% won by submission, 81% finish rate overall. He's lost by decision 4 times, lost by KO once, and submitted 3 times. Peter Sobatta, he is coming back after a decent layoff here. He is 33 years old. He is 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. He is 17-6-1 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's landed 2.17 significant strikes per minute with a 39% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.89 significant strikes per minute with a 59% striking defense. He averages 1.76 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 35% takedown accuracy. He has a 77% takedown defense. 24 fights for Sobatta. He's won by knockout 29% of the time, submission 59% of the time, 88% finish rate overall. He's lost by decision 4 times, lost by knockout twice. So looking at the odds here, Alex Oliveira is a minus 170 favorite, and Sobatta is a plus 150 underdog. So I'm going to be taking my second underdog of the card in this fight. I think Oliveira is on a slight decline. It definitely looks like. I mean, I think he's slowing down, but what we got to worry about is that power. He is a finisher. He went to a very close fight with Max Griffin. Some argue that Max Griffin did win that fight. It was a super close fight. We do have concerns about Sobatta coming in here after a little bit of a layoff here, but I think where Sobatta is going to win this fight is he has a huge ground advantage, in my opinion. He's a BJJ black belt. He's very, very slick on the ground. I was watching tape on this dude Sobatta. He's very good on the ground, very, very good on the ground. So I do think this fight hits the ground at some point, and that's where I do give the advantage to Sobatta, whether it's Oliveira taking down Sobatta, because Oliveira does take down a lot of his opponents, no matter what the credentials are on the ground for his opponents. He doesn't really care, it seems like, in some of his fights. And then Sobatta, I feel like he can get Oliveira down as well. And on the feet, I honestly don't feel like there's that much of a gap in the striking. Sobatta is someone who has improved his striking a lot, and that's something he's been working on. I heard in an interview that's something he's really been working on over this layoff here. So hopefully he comes in here with better striking. I am a little bit worried about his chin, but especially with somebody in Oliveira who hits very hard. But I just feel like this fight's going to be close on the feet. I don't think Oliveira throws much volume at all. And I do think if this does get to the ground, you got to favor Sobatta, and I do think it gets there. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Sobatta to win by decision, probably a very, very close decision. Maybe he submits Oliveira as well, but I don't know if I'm going to bet this yet. I'll let you guys know on the live stream, but I think this is a good spot. I really do think this is a good spot for Sobatta. So give me Sobatta to win by decision. If Oliveira comes on here and knocks him out, would it surprise me? No, but I do think Sobatta has a decent chance to win this fight if he does get to the ground, and I do think it does at some point. So yeah, give me Sobatta. So like I said, there aren't many underdogs on this card. That's my second one. And yeah, this is a very favorite heavy card. We got huge favorites in here. Some guys should be a little bit closer in the line, but you know, this is a very favorite heavy card. Next, we got the People's main event: Paul Craig versus Kadzimierz Antigulov. This is the People's main event, the fight we are all going to be, you know, very excited for. Two guys that are, you know, honestly not very good. You know, Paul Craig, he is 32 years old. He is 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. He is 12-4 and 2-2 and 1 in his last 5 fights. Antigulov, he is 33 years old. He is 5'11" with a 70.5-inch reach, 20-6 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Looking at the odds here, it was a pick'em, but now some money is coming in on Paul Craig, -125 favorite. Antigulov is +105 underdog. So, this fight is honestly a very weird fight, and this fight is going to be extremely ugly. I was watching tape on Antigulov, and he has an extremely bad gas tank. I saw him gas out after the first couple minutes of a lot of his fights. And what's interesting about this is I posted on Twitter, Antigulov has not been out of the first round since 2014, and he hasn't been out of the first round in the UFC. So that's interesting to note there. And Paul Craig is someone who has finished 100% of his fights, and Antigulov has finished 95% of his fights. So the fight doesn't go to decision line is like -400. So this fight is definitely going to end inside the distance. And the under I also posted on Twitter was -120, which I did like that. So tune in Friday to see if I do make a bet on that. -120, the under. Like I said, Antigulov has not been out of the first round in 6 years, and I don't think he has the gas tank to. But as for the fight goes, Paul Craig has been knocked out many times, 3 times. Antigulov has been knocked out many times, 4 times. Craig's been submitted once. Antigulov submitted twice. As for the fight goes, I'm picking Paul Craig, I guess. I think he has the better cardio. He has the cardio to at least go, you know, past the first round. You know, he's someone that can be losing all fight and ends up winning. You know, in the last couple seconds, we've seen that a couple times. You know, throw up Hail Mary submissions and get him. And, you know, he has some good BJJ. And if he can survive the early storm of Antigulov, because Antigulov is going to come in here trying to take Craig's head off, trying to take him down, which I do think he'll get him down at some point because, you know, Craig accepts position from the bottom. He's more than happy to play from his back. But, you know, just tire out Antigulov, survive that first couple minutes, the fight's going to turn around very quick and in Craig's favor. Like, Paul Craig is someone who, you know, he's been winning fights that he's losing for much of the fight, but I see improvement in Paul Craig. As crazy as it sounds, I see improvement. You know, he trains hard, he's working on his game, and you know, we saw his last fight with Shogun. Like, he looked decent in that first round. He showed some power. He got a 10-8 round against Shogun in that first round. So yeah, Paul Craig is improving, and I can't say the same for Antigulov. I see a decline throughout his career in the tape. So I am picking Paul Craig to win this fight here. This fight is going to be extremely ugly. The People's main event, the fight we are all going to be waiting to see. And I'll tell you guys right now, someone is getting finished. Whether it's in the first round or early second round, I don't think Antigulov has the cardio to get off the stool after that first round at this point in his career. So I'm going to pick Paul Craig to win by... Man, I'm gonna say submission. I'm gonna say he's going to submit him. Like, Antigulov has pretty good BJJ and power as well, but you know, when you're tired, and especially him, you know, he gasses out hard. So I'm gonna pick Paul Craig to win by submission there. This is a fight you really don't want to bet on either side, really, because you know, Antigulov very well could come in here and take Craig's head off in the first 10 seconds, or you know, Craig can weather that storm and win. And I'm gonna pick the side where Craig does weather that storm and win this fight. All right, next we got Carla Esparza versus Marina Rodriguez. Rodriguez, she is 33 years old. She is 5'6", with a 65-inch reach. She is 12-0 and 2 in her last 5 fights, and 3-0-2, and no, she's 12-0-2 for her record, and 3-0-2 in her last 5 fights. She averages 5.82 significant strikes per minute, which is a ton, with a 51% striking accuracy. She absorbs 3.27 significant strikes per minute with a 58% striking defense. Averages 0.33 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 20% takedown accuracy, and it has an 84% takedown defense as well. So she has 14 fights. She's won by knockout 42% of the time, has won by submission 8% of the time. She has never been, obviously, lost by decision. She's never lost by knockout or submission. She's undefeated. As for Carla Esparza, she is 32 years old. She is 5'1". She is as a 6'3" reach. She is 16-6 and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. She lands only 2.22 significant strikes per minute, very low output, 40% accuracy, absorbs 2.86 significant strikes per minute with a 53% striking defense. She averages 3.53 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 33% takedown accuracy, 48% takedown defense as well. And she has 22 fights. She's won by knockout 11% of the time, won by submission 32% of the time. She's lost by decision 3 times, lost by knockout twice, and lost by submission twice. So, Rodriguez, we all know the story about her. She is extremely good on the feet. I see her improving fight after fight. I heard that she got into MMA a little bit later than some of these other women and women's MMA. Because if she would have started earlier, I think she would have been even more of a beast that she is. Because I do think she is a beast, especially on the feet. She's very good in the clinch. She lands hard knees. She throws tons of output, and she hits hard. As for Carla Esparza, I can't say the same about her. In regards to striking, does not throw too hard. The output is very low. She, recently she hasn't been going for takedowns, but her game is pretty much going out there and getting takedowns. And I do think that would work on Rodriguez here. And I do think this fight is kind of close, but then again, I don't. Because Rodriguez has such an advantage on the feet, and honestly, it's really not even close. And I do like Rodriguez to win this fight. What does concern me is we've seen Rodriguez dominated, getting like 10-8s on her, almost getting finished in rounds against Cynthia Calvillo. Weird fight there. Rodriguez was winning round 1 and round 2, and then Calvillo dominated her, almost finished her in round 3. So hopefully she patched some of that part of her game a little bit. I mean, I've seen her off her back. Sometimes she looks decent, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she has problems getting up. But she does work from her back. She's very active. She looks for elbows. She looks for submissions at times. And Esparza is not dangerous on the ground. If she does get somebody on the ground, she doesn't do much. She doesn't do much at all, pretty much just holding her on the ground. And I honestly think if Esparza takes down Rodriguez, I think Rodriguez is going to be more active off her back and probably land more damage just off of her back. And, the judges really look at those things. So I like Rodriguez at the line here, -180. I'll tell you guys right now, I did place a bet on this fight. I got her at -160 though, so the line is getting a little bit wider. I did expect it to get wider, but could be even wider by the time the fight starts on Saturday. So I don't know. I think Esparza has a path to victory. I just don't. I rather would favor Rodriguez's striking, more than Esparza's wrestling here. I just think Rodriguez is going to do a lot more in this fight. So I even think that, Rodriguez might be able to get a knockout here. She just throws so much output, and I really do think she's going to put a beating on Carla Esparza if Esparza does not take her down. So give me Rodriguez. I'm gonna go by 3rd round knockout. I think she has the power to do it. We have seen Esparza knocked out before, and I do think she's gonna put a beating on Esparza as long as it stays on the feet. And I'm hoping, for my bet's sake, that Esparza tries to stand and bang with Rodriguez a little bit, and Rodriguez is able to stuff some takedowns and definitely work off her back, get up, and I like Rodriguez to win this fight. All right. So next we got a very weird fight here. Alexander Gustafsson versus Fabricio Werdum. We've seen how awful Werdum looked in his last fight against Oleinik. Busted probably a lot of parlays. He was a big favorite against Oleinik. I mean, perfect stylistic matchup for Werdum in that fight. Honestly, he got me as well. Like, I didn't think he was going to lose that fight. Obviously, he made Oleinik look very good. I do think Oleinik definitely improved his cardio quite a bit, because I was expecting Oleinik to be the one to gas out, but Werdum is the one that gassed out very, very hard. I mean, both these guys were tired, but Werdum looked like the more tired fighter in there, which really surprised me because, you've seen Werdum gas up before, but not that quick, not that hard. So honestly, it looked like he didn't train at all. And I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumor the last fight against Oleinik that he didn't train at all. I heard that. I don't know if it's true. I forget where I heard that from, but I heard it. He didn't train at all for the Oleinik fight, and I don't know if it was him himself saying that, but I remember hearing that, and I remember being like, even if he didn't train for Oleinik, I think he has him here. So I didn't look too much into that, and I didn't even know if it was true, but it sure looked like he was sitting on the couch all fight camp for that Oleinik fight. So I want to see him on the scales here. But, before I looked into the fight here, I thought that this line was absolutely insane. Like Gustafsson, he is minus 350, and Werdum is plus 290. And then after doing some tape, looking into the stats and everything, I can see why he's such a big favorite. I mean, this is not something I would go out and parlay, but I think Gustafsson's going to win this fight based off of, he's going to have the better cardio. He's going to be the faster fighter in there. He has a striking advantage by a decent margin. The thing that concerns me is we've seen how guys have been coming up to heavyweight and looking like not good. And Gustafsson did take a year off, coming off of a retirement. Losing to Anthony Smith. So lots of question marks in this. Like, this fight is extremely weird, but I want to pick Gustafsson to win this fight. Just being the busier striker, being the faster fighter. I am worried about, Werdum clinching up, being the bigger fighter in there and maybe taking Gustafsson to the ground. And then, we've seen Gustafsson submitted before. And Werdum, that's probably his only path to victory is getting him to the ground. But, Gustafsson has a very good takedown defense, at least at light heavyweight. His takedown defense is 85%. So I've only seen him getting taken down a couple times. He's very good at stuffing those takedowns. So I think he should be good here. I don't think Werdum really has the wrestling to get him down. But like I said, he's going to have a size advantage in there, most likely. Probably not a strength advantage, especially if he hasn't been training, because we've seen that Gustafsson has been training. So I want to see these guys at weigh-ins. Honestly was tempted to take a stab at Werdum, but after watching tape, you just can't. This is definitely a fight you want to pass on. As for a parlay, the line's just way too wide to put in a parlay. I mean, he's probably going to win, but, I just got a bad feeling about this fight. This fight's probably going to be very ugly here. So I'm going to take Gustafsson to win by decision here, probably all 3 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Werdum does gas himself out and gets finished as well. So Gustafsson by decision. Very, very weird fight there. And speaking of weird fights, we have another one here. We got Shogun versus Little Nog. So, Nogueira, he is 44 years old. He is 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. He is 23-9 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Shogun, he is 38 years old. He is 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. He is 26-11 and 1 and 3-1 and 1 in his last 5 fights. So, if you guys don't know, Shogun has beat Nogueira 2 times already. So, this fight is getting ran back for the 3rd time, the trilogy here. And like I said, Shogun's already beat him twice. And I don't know. I don't know about this fight. Like, this fight is extremely weird. Like, Nogueira is 44 years old. That's just insane to think about. And the power's still there. We've seen him knock out Sam Alvey 2 fights ago. I think that was like 2 years ago. Shogun looked absolutely pitiful against Paul Craig. Like, he was making Paul Craig look extremely good on the feet. And, Nogueira still has the power to knock him out. So this fight is probably closer than the line indicates. This is such an ugly fight, but minus 185 Shogun, plus 160 Little Nog. I'm going to go with Shogun here. Just because he's going to be the busier fighter, the more active fighter, I think he can search for takedowns. Watching their second fight, I believe it was in like 2015, Little Nog had a lot of success in that first round. He even hurt Shogun pretty bad. I thought he was going to take him out there in that first round, but Shogun definitely survived, and I wouldn't be surprised if Little Nog knocked him out in that first round, especially how bad he looked on the feet against Paul Craig, who is absolutely atrocious. So I wouldn't bet this fight from either way. If you wanted to, just take a shot on Little Nog by knockout. It could be worth it, but I'm gonna pick Shogun to win this fight just by getting takedowns. We've seen like their first fight, he landed like, I want to say like 6 to 8 takedowns. He landed a bunch of takedowns in that fight, and then their last fight, which was in 2015, Shogun landed like 2 or 3 takedowns. So I do think that's a good path to victory. And if he takes him down, I don't really see, Little Nog doing anything to really get back up or threaten off his back with a submission or anything. So just, based off the takedowns alone, and, Shogun doesn't have the best gas tank, but he does have a better gas tank than Little Nog here. So I do think Shogun wins, but that first round is going to be very iffy for anyone that is backing Shogun in this fight. That first round is going to be pretty dangerous in my opinion. But I'm looking forward to it, honestly. To UFC veterans of the sport co-main event, I'm looking forward to see how this plays out. I believe that Little Nog is actually the one that called for this fight as well. So maybe he has been training. Like I said, I haven't listened to many interviews at all, but from the ones I've heard, I've heard that Little Nog was the one that called this fight, and I believe it's the last fight on his contract. And I think he said that he is retiring after this fight as well. So some things to note there. But give me Shogun to win this fight by probably a very ugly, weird decision there. All right, next we have the main event, what everybody has been waiting for, and a good fight here. Two guys that, they're two great fighters. Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till here. Robert Whittaker, he is 29 years old. He is 6 foot with a 73.5-inch reach. He is 20-5 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lands 4.82 significant strikes per minute, and that is exactly double what Darren Till lands. Darren Till lands 2.41. So Whittaker has a 40% accuracy. Whittaker absorbs 3.65 significant strikes per minute with a 61% striking defense. Whittaker averages 0.37 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 57% takedown accuracy. Has an 84% takedown defense. 25 fights. Has won by knockout 45% of the time. He's won by submission 25% of the time. He's won by a total finish rate of 70%. He's lost by decision twice, lost by knockout twice, and lost by submission twice. Darren Till, he absorbs 2.41 significant strikes per minute with the 46% striking accuracy. He throws 2.41 significant strikes per minute. He absorbs 3.03, has a 59% striking defense, averages 0.66 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 41% takedown accuracy, 82% takedown defense. He's won by knockout 56% of the time, submission 11% of the time, has a 67% finish rate. He's lost by knockout once. We all remember that. Jorge Masvidal won me a lot of money that night. I think I was pretty much the only one in the world, it seemed like, on Jorge Masvidal in that fight. Like, that shocked a lot of people. But yeah, Till lost by submission once as well by Tyron Woodley. So honestly, looking at the line here, I do think it could be a little bit wider for Robert Whittaker, minus 120. What I see it coming down to is just Whittaker doing more. And, that's kind of not the best breakdown in the world, but, that's just what I see. I see him throwing more. I think he's the better striker overall. But we got to worry about is Whittaker's chin. We saw him get knocked out against Adesanya. We saw him get rocked and dropped at the end of that first round against Adesanya. But, rewatching that fight, this was one of the very last fights that I taped. I was watching that Whittaker and Adesanya fight, and Whittaker was having some success in moments of that fight. He really was. He was coming forward. Of course, it was hard to, kind of touch Adesanya, with Adesanya having that length and reach. But he was getting in there. He was landing some shots on Adesanya, especially in that second round, and then he just got clipped, and that's what I'm worried about here. But, if his chin can hold up, and if Darren Till doesn't knock him out, I think Robert Whittaker honestly runs away with this one. I just see him doing more. I think he's the more talented fighter. Honestly, there's a lot of hype around Till, and I just don't see it. And there's a lot of, people thinking that the Gastelum win is a decent win. I don't know. That fight was very weird. I had Gastelum winning that fight, but I picked Gastelum in the fight, but obviously Till won. But that fight was just not impressive. I don't think Gastelum has been the same since Adesanya, so maybe that could be the case for Whittaker. You can make that the case, but Whittaker didn't really go through a war like Gastelum did. Whittaker got knocked down in that second round though. But I do think Whittaker is the more talented fighter. He's going to probably double up or on Till's strike. Till just doesn't do much for me. He doesn't do much. He's very basic, but he does have that hype around him, and I think that's why the line is so close and probably recency biased with, Till beating Gastelum and Whittaker getting knocked out by Adesanya. But what we got to remember is Whittaker was a favorite against Adesanya, which looking back on it is crazy. But, Whittaker's good. I think he won, 8, 9 fights in a row before the Adesanya loss. So this guy is good. I think as long as his chin holds up, he's going to win this fight. And I'm tempted at placing a bet on Whittaker minus 120. I could see more money coming in on him, honestly. But there is a lot of hype on Till as well, especially the MMA community definitely loves a guy like Till. He talks crap. He gets on Twitter. Very good Twitter account, Instagram account. So he's a fan favorite. That's why the line's probably like this. And I probably will get some hate for this pick. But, as long as, Whittaker's chin holds up, I don't see Till winning this fight. So I'm going to pick Whittaker to win. Till's a tough guy. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I've seen Till knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. I'm going to say Whittaker wins by decision, but I would not be surprised if Whittaker did finish him later in the fight. Whittaker is a finisher. He's finished 70% of his fights compared to Till 67. But I'm going to give Till the benefit of the doubt, and I do think Till's chin will probably hold up here, and Whittaker will probably honestly coast to a decision. I think if this goes to decision, it's not even going to be close. So give me Robert Whittaker by decision. All right, guys, and that's about it. Thank you for sticking with me. The longest video I've ever done, 15 fights. Really looking forward to do it. Like I said, coming off of 4 profitable cards in a row. Hopefully make it 5 here. I already have 3 bets placed. Looking to place probably 3 or 4 more for this card. I'm going to have a lot of action for this card. Going to be watching it all day pretty much. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Post my bets out there before the card. Come talk some fights with me. Let me know who you guys are betting as well. Leave some comments. I like to interact with all the comments. Like this video. It really helps me out a ton. And then, of course, subscribe if you're sticking with me. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Really appreciate that as well. I'm going to be doing some giveaways next month for that UFC 252 card. And I'm actually going to add a nice twist on one of those giveaways as well, making it more appealing to a lot of people. It's going to be great and for a great fight card as well. Other than that, that's about all I have for you guys. If you have any bets, good luck. Make sure you guys tune into the live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Going to be going over all my bets, my final thoughts, weigh-ins, which is going to be very, very important, and also DraftKings as well. And yeah, if you guys play DraftKings, check out my DraftKings video as well. And then other than that, good luck, and let's win some money at UFC Fight Island 3.